Hi class. So I'm clearly on the video thing today. That's where it's at. I wanted to let you know that I did finish grading chapter 4 and your grades are updated in Blackboard. One thing to know about the homework is if you access the homework directly through Blackboard, meaning you go to the learning module and then where it says connect homework and you access it that way, then what should in theory happen is once you finish and connect, your grade will be linked into Blackboard and it'll show up into Blackboard automatically. So that's the way to do it if you want to see it in your gradebook right away. If you don't do that and you just go through Connect directly, that's fine. Your grade will still be in Connect. It hasn't been lost. But I go in every Monday to do my grading. So I do grading once a week every Monday. And what I do is I go into Connect, I run my reports, and then I go into Blackboard and I update anyone's grade in Blackboard that did not show up automatically. So that's just kind of a hint as how to get your grades to do the linking. The key is you have to access the specific assignment through Blackboard. It's just kind of a trick. Now this week you guys are going to be working on Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is solving for unknown problems. This is the math chapter in the textbook that's really truly math related. I mean, this kind of takes us back to some prior math classes, but it's a very, very important building block for you to reinvest time in for yourself to learn this skill. So if you have had math anxiety and you've been nervous about math, I'm sure that this chapter will bring up a little bit of that. I want you to expect that if math is kind of a tough little area for you, expect to feel some of that, but don't be afraid of it, okay? That's kind of the first key. The second key is break down the problems step by step. Break them apart. Most of the math that we're doing here, it's kind of entry-level math, and what they're trying to get you to do in Chapter 5 is be able to read a math problem, use some basic algebra to solve for unknowns. So one thing that happens in word problems is they might give you additional information that you don't need. A lot of life and real life business skills is learning how to filter the stuff that is not needed, okay, for any type of problem. So let me give you an example. I'm entering tax season now, and I have clients who will bring me a box full of stuff, okay? And my client thinks that it's all relevant, it's all important for their tax return. I know that out of that box, I probably only need this many documents because I've been doing it for so many years. I know what their tax situation is like. I know what information I'm going to need from them. My point to this is I still have to go through the box, okay? But then I start to pick out what is needed. Oh, I need this document, I need this receipt, I need this statement, and I don't need this, I don't need this. So that's kind of what you're doing with word problems. You are filtering through the information that is given to you. So you have to say, okay, do I need this piece of information? Is this piece of information relevant to what they're asking me? That's the next step. Do you know what the question is asking you? That is where students probably don't spend enough time. So it's very easy to jump into a word problem and start writing things down, and then you start to get anxious about it, and you're like, well, I don't know, I guess I need all the information, when you might only need a little bit. But the bigger, more important part is, do you know what the question is asking you? So what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to sit with the problem if you're having trouble and read the problem, and before you even start with the math side of it, I want you to write out maybe one sentence that says, okay, this problem is asking me to solve for this. That alone can be life-changing. You have to know what the call of the question is. So on the CPA exam, they would give us questions that are, just gigantic, huge paragraph questions. And that was really the key to these word problems, is can you filter out all the junk that you don't need? But the bigger question is, do you know what is being asked of you? And that kind of serves to a lot of things in life, right? If you have a boss that comes to you and they're like, hey, I need this report by this deadline, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, yeah. And they leave. And then you're like, I don't even know what he asked me to do, right? What's the call of the question? What is the question calling you to do? So we have to learn how to ask ourselves those questions, and then we have to learn how to ask others for help in that area. So if your boss came to you and you didn't know what to do, then the next step is to be like, I'm saying like, but to say to your boss, okay, you asked me to do this. What I'm hearing from you is you want me to do A, B, C, D. Is that right? Did I hear that right? That's kind of what you're doing when you're working on math problems too, okay? So have those conversations with yourself. Talk out loud. Sometimes that was the best way for me to get through problems. If I was sitting alone, working and studying, I would actually talk out loud to myself when I was working on a hard word problem, and I would say, okay, I think the question is asking for this. I think this is what it's asking for. Or is it asking for this? So again, the first thing is, what is the call of the question? And if you do not know what it is, if you are just at a loss, the next step is to ask me. Okay, so please don't hesitate. Just say, Nicole, I'm starting this problem. I'm already getting anxiety about it. And the truth is, I don't even know what it's asking me for. Okay, it's okay to ask that. It's okay to ask your classmates, have you worked on this problem yet? Do you even know what it's saying? I don't. That's okay. That's what you're doing. You're building skills. You're learning skills, okay? So again, you're deciphering out stuff, excess stuff that isn't needed. And then always, first step, say, what is the call of this question? And if you're having trouble, try to write it down, talk it out with someone. You would be surprised if you just talk it out maybe with a housemate or a partner or a friend or a family member. Be like, hey, I have this problem. Can you read it? Do you think this is what it's asking for? Oh, okay, then I'm on the right track. That alone helps you feel better to kind of start putting things down. That's it. That's kind of my spiel on chapter 5 and how I think you guys should approach it. And again, make sure to email me in a timely manner if you have any questions. Thanks. See you later.